Hello, welcome back to Our Vision Farm. I'm doing an update today on our meat chickens that we're raising. Today is day 5, not quite the first week update, but it's close enough. And so far, all 52 of our chicks are alive and thriving, and they've been doing really good. What I started doing with their food to make it easier was to blend it in a household blender until it's like a mash like this. So I ferment the food. I've been starting a batch every single day. And the next day it soaks up all the water and it's a lot softer and it turns into this mash that's a little bit more edible for them. And they've been loving it. They've been tearing it up. I just gave them one plate full and I'll put in another plate. This is my little brooder setup that I came up with. Actually, somebody gave this to me a while ago. They used to keep their rabbits in it. And it's been working great for the chicks because with the cage, they kept squeezing out of the little bars. The only thing is here, this zipper is broken, so I gotta keep something solid here so that they don't start squeezing out. But it's been working good. I put puppy pads at the bottom. They have their water and I feed them twice a day. And I've also been keeping a little dish with some grass and some dirt and leaves that I get from outside because I want to get them acclimated to the outside grass that they are going to be moved to as soon as they're big enough. You don't want to keep your meat chickens that you're going to eventually pasture raise in a super clean environment. I mean, you want to keep them in a clean environment, but you want to introduce some of that nature in here as well so they start building their immune system, and it's just good for like the transfer. You don't want to completely take them from a sanitary environment and dump them straight into the grass and the pasture outside, because that might be too big of a change for them and they can get sick and die from that because they get too used to the super sanitary environment, like here where they just have the puppy pads, or if you do the pine shavings. But this is what we've been doing. They're a little bit dirty because they get messy with the mash food, but they're doing really good. I'm surprised all 52 are alive. Usually we lose one. We do have one that looks like it's a runt. It's one that's a little bit pale color for some reason. All the other chicks are like a little yellow, have a yellow tint to them, and that one's a little bit whiter. So maybe that one is not a meat chicken. Maybe they mixed in an extra of another type. I'm not sure. But at first that one was kind of looking kind of weird, stumbling. It looked kind of weaker than the others, but it's still hanging on there, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that one. But so far, like I said, they sent me 52. I had ordered 50 and they're all still doing great. They tear that food up, they love it, and blending it in a blender has definitely helped them be able to eat all of it, because before they couldn't eat the peas out of it, the split peas. So just wanted to do an update on them, and they are not ready to go outside yet. I am putting a heater fan on them at nighttime because they tend to, even though it's warm here in Florida, they still tend to crowd into one corner when it's sleeping time, and that just makes the risk of them smothering themselves worse. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some more changes we're doing. If you follow our Facebook page, you would already know, but these are the 2 newest members of our farm. The blue one is called Blueberry, and the green one is Kiwi. The green one is a female, and the blue one is the male. And these are budgies, or some people call them parakeets. So this is, they haven't been handled very much, so we're trying to work on that. But we got them as a breeding pair. We're waiting to see if they are compatible, because my son, we're about to start homeschooling, and I wanted to give the kids a little project, a little farm project. I know, Blueberry. To do while they're homeschooling, so that they can learn about business and they can learn about animal husbandry and just be more involved with the farm. So my son decided he was interested in breeding birds, and we were looking up different type of birds. We were interested in parrotlets because I had a parrotlet when I was younger, and it was the sweetest little bird ever. But parrotlets were a little bit expensive to get started with, and obviously the other parrots, the larger birds, were way too out of our budget to get started with. So we bought him the first little pair of budgies, and right now we're just letting them get used to each other. And eventually we will introduce a little nesting box and see if they'll breed for us. And that's going to be his little side business, my son's first little business, breeding the parakeets or the budgies and studying about the different mutations that you can do with them. I looked up on Google. There's some called rainbow budgies, and it's when you cross, I think you have to cross them about 2 or 3 times to get the rainbow colored. They're like pastel colored and they're really beautiful, and our goal is to get some of those so he can sell. And we're also going to change some things in the farm. For one, we rehomed all of our chickens, all of our egg-laying chickens. Let me get my boots on so I can show you guys. So we rehomed our chickens, and the only thing we have left right now is our ducks, which somebody will be picking up later today actually. So I have them locked up in the coop right now. And the person who's taking them has a lake, and she already has a couple ducks on her property. So I'm very excited for the ducks to actually have a little pond, a little lake for them to swim in, because all they have here is that blue kiddie pool. So they'll be a lot happier where they're going. Yeah, buddy. So our idea, since now this whole chicken coop is going to be empty, our project is going to be to turn it into a bird aviary. So that's going to be part of my son's little thing. We're going to try to breed the birds, but we're also going to have to bring in some more mature birds, because we want to knock down the walls of this chicken coop and somehow screen it in so that we can turn it into a bird aviary where people, whenever we have farm days, they can walk into it and have like a real up-close experience with all the birds. And then it would perfectly complement our flower garden, because this entire thing is our flower garden, and it is just full of colors and full of flowers and butterflies and bees. So I'm going to open this up and we're going to add more flowers. You can see some are already growing there from seeds from other years, but we're going to cover all this in different flowers, and then have the walk-in bird cage filled with all different type of colored budgies, some that we breed, some that we just bring in, and hopefully colony breed them as well. I've heard that that doesn't always work out, but we're gonna try. We're gonna put a few nesting boxes in there and see if they'll colony breed, as well as keeping some separate for breeding, because we really want to get those rainbow budgies and all the different rare mixes that you can do by crossbreeding the different colors. So, oh, and also we're gonna put a plant tunnel right here. We're gonna make a tunnel with the cattle panel. So our plan is to make like a walk-in cool tunnel with either gourds or cucumbers or some type of climbing flowers, so that customers can walk in and have the bird experience and then walk through the flower garden. So I think that's going to be a pretty cool addition to our farm, and that's what we're going to utilize the chicken coop for. And we're going to continue with our plans to pasture raise the chickens in the hoop houses once they're ready to move into there. So we're not going to do egg laying for now. We might revisit the idea later on. We're thinking of maybe raising either a heritage breed of meat chicken that's dual purpose that can lay eggs as well, and we would raise them in this same idea with the hoop houses and moving them around, because this is actually going in the front yard, and our whole front yard is going to be a rotational pasture for the meat chickens and possibly egg layers in the future. But for now, we're just going to focus on the meat chickens, and we also have a farm that's going to hatch out some turkeys for us. So we still have to figure all that out. But like I said, we will reconsider raising egg-laying chickens, but they will be pasture raised as well, and they'll be fed the corn and soy-free mix as well, because I think people would really be interested in corn and soy-free eggs, because a lot of people do have allergies to corn and soy, and I've seen a lot of people looking for corn and soy-free chicken and eggs. So that's the plan. My daughter also has a little business, side business that she's gonna do. I'm not going to share that with you guys yet. I will let that be a surprise. We have to do a little work for that one because we have to build an enclosure for what that is. And that will also further explain why we got rid of the chickens that we had in the first place. So I don't want to share too much of that. I want that to be a surprise. But I'm very excited that they found something that they want to do. My son is really excited about the birds, and I'm really excited to have the open aviary full of all types of colorful parakeets and budgies. And then my daughter's super excited to start her little business as well. It's something that they are going to do on their own. They're going to be purchasing the food, they're going to be feeding them and caring for them, and they're going to do the business side of it and selling pretty much, I guess I would call it the offspring, selling it to other farms and to other households that are interested in pet quality birds. And I will not share what my daughter is going to raise. But these little birds are so cute and they're in love. The place, little pet store we got them from, it was at a flea market. We tried to watch them in the cage because they had tons of birds together. We try to watch for the two that seem to be compatible and that kind of got along with each other. So that way they're more likely to breed, because sometimes they aren't compatible for breeding and all they'll do is fight. So hopefully once we get the nesting box in here, she'll start laying eggs. The green one, Kiwi, she's the girl. And the blue and white one is Blueberry, he's the male. But so far, that is the plan. We're going to turn our old chicken coop into a nice little colorful bird aviary, and then continue to turn our farm into more of an income producing farm and food producing, adding a lot more edible landscape. And then we're going to start my daughter's little hobby business, and then we will work on the back. The back, we want to move the sheep to start clearing out some of that land in the back that I shared in that other video. We probably won't get too many more cows. I think maybe 2 a year might be more than enough. But when we do get the cows, they'll also have a little section all the way in the back. And we're going to try to decide on what breed of pigs we want to raise for meat. And those, what we're going to do is the current pig pens that we have, that's where our breeding pair is going to live. We would keep them separated, and when we want to breed them, put them together and then separate them back up. Since that's already built and ready and they have their little shelters in there, we'll keep the male on one side, the female on the other. And then when the babies are born, as soon as they're old enough to start weaning, what we plan to do is pasture rotate them as well. I'm not sure what direction we're going to do that with. We were thinking about electric netting, but then cattle panels was another option as well, to just rotate them and even utilize them to clear out more garden space for us. So that's pretty exciting. We could make them do all the tilling work, and then we could just expand our fruit producing gardens, and that way the pigs have grass to eat and they can free range up to the point where we let them with the fence outline, but they won't be stuck inside of the dusty pen that they're in now. Well, our current pigs are in now. So and then the sheep, we're going to continue with the sheep just how it's going. We're going to continue breeding the sheep. We already have a ram in-house, and so we can just continue expanding that herd so that we can have enough lambs for meat. For customers here in Florida, we kind of looked up all the laws, and the best one that's going to fit our situation is the custom butcher. Basically, we have to sell the animal to the customer as a whole animal. The customer has to purchase a whole animal. So let's say a whole cow, a whole pig, or a whole sheep. And we have to take it to a custom butcher. And then they'll do all the butchering and all the packaging, and then it gets returned to the customer who bought the animal. and those pieces of meat cannot be resold. We can't retail sell them. We can't sell them by the pieces. The customer has to basically take the whole thing. So that's kind of one way around having to get USDA certified and going through that expensive process of using a USDA certified slaughterhouse. And then I was told that you also have to keep all your meats in a USDA certified building, which we don't have here. We were just planning on keeping it in our deep freezer, but that is not allowed here in Florida. So we're just gonna go the custom cuts round, where if a customer is interested in some of our meat, then they just have to buy the whole animal. And they can also decide, once they have it, what they want to do with it. They can split it with other families, or share with their friends, or whatever they want to do. But the poultry business, we are allowed to do the retail sales, and we are allowed to butcher right here at home. So that is awesome. That is another opportunity to grow our business. But since we do want to do lamb, pork, and beef as well, that'll be another avenue to do that. So we're excited for our meat chickens. They are still doing awesome, like I said. We're really excited for our turkeys that are going to hatch at the end of May, I was told. So we're going to be raising 10 of them, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to try to keep a breeding trio out of those 10 so we can continue to hatch our own eggs. And then we're going to start that bird business and the bird aviary, and then my daughter's little project. And then we'll probably decide on which breed of pigs we want to raise. And we will continue on how we're doing with the sheep. And I'm not sure if we'll add another cow this year, but next time we do get a cow, we'll probably get 2 of them, 2 males or 2 steers. So that is the plan. Those are the updates for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you for following along, and I look forward to sharing more with you guys.